A very warm welcome to this video, which is the second part of an earlier video I did under the title of Function of Mythologies. This part of the video deals with the primary purpose of mythologies. The detailed analysis has been possible thanks to the resource material which has been provided by a great Indian mythologist, Devduttpatanaik. And here is the presentation. Myth is somebody's truth. Animals do not have a mythology, as they know who they are. They are predators to their prey and prey to their predators. Survival was the main function during the hunter-gatherer period. But as we evolved in our consciousness, as we moved into the agrarian society, as we moved into the rational age, we started living in a very complex world. And hence, humans do not have that knowledge. As humans, we do not know who our allies are and who our rivals. So we create stories that bind us to collaborators and isolate us from hostile forces. These stories are myths, elaborated and repeated through symbols and rituals. Every tribe has its own myth, its own stories about how the world came into being, how the world will end, and why we exist and what happens after death. Probably the earliest Babylonian mythology was the first one to probe into the creation story, known as the Enuma Elish. These ideas are transmitted using stories, symbols, and rituals. They are real to the insiders, but not to the outsiders. Pre-Vedic Indians buried their dead in pots or placed giant stones on burial spots. Why? They had a story to which we have no access. But the story determined how they lived their life and how they buried their dead. It was their myth. Very different from the myths of the Vedic Indians that made them cremate the dead, throw the ashes in the river, and feed ancestors during the monsoon season. Different myths create different customs, which create different cultures. Mythologist studies this one, but a myth of fiction writer might have no interest in it. And this is where we have come into a problem in our understanding of myths. Because today myths have been mostly taken by the majority of the people to be historical facts. Hindu, Buddhist and Jain stories that originated in India inform us how life is shaped by various forces and how humans carry forward issues and problems into the next life. This is the process of karma. By contrast, Bible and the Quran, which originated in the Middle East, insist that humans only live one life, and so everything must be resolved on earth or on Judgment Day. The monotheistic religions, and hence their myth, shapes the reality of people who lived in the geographical region where followers of Abrahamic religion lived. Indian myths and the Abrahamic myths are eschatologically diverse. The two are as different as oil and water, and they influence how these cultures responded to various historical events. Atheists will argue otherwise because they feel myths belong to religious folks, and they are rational beings who do not believe in supernatural forces. But myths are not just about gods, they are about man-made concepts that we have faith in. Property is a myth, for example. Not natural, not real, but a totally made-up concept. Another clear example in today's world is stock market is a myth, a financial model on a supercomputer based on certain parameters. So is human rights. Equality and justice are also cultural truths that presuppose the myths of property and human rights. Their existence is enforced through force and regulatory authorities. They do not exist outside the human imagination. Real impact of cultural imagination, myths, unlike facts, is neither objective nor universal. It belongs to a group of people, a community, a culture. Hence, all humans will never agree on ideas such as property, human rights, justice, or equality. Many tribes believe you can only own cattle, not land. Such tribes would be at odds with nation state that are based on geographical boundaries. Today we say Amazon forests belong to Brazil. No one checked with the Amazon tribes who lived in these forests for thousands of years and never claimed to own them. Tribal communities around the world feel they are being bullied into submission by myths of the nation state, but they do not know who to appeal. Their gods won't listen. The rational lawyers of the nation state serve the interests of the nation state and not the tribe. What was the overarching purpose of mythical narratives? There are primarily 7 key purposes, and which are as follows. Number 1, explanation of the natural world. Many ancient myths were created to explain the natural phenomena, such as creation of the world, the changing of seasons, behavior of animals, and the forces of nature. These myths help people make sense of their surroundings and help understand their place in the cosmos. Number 2, moral and ethical lessons. Myths often contain moral and ethical lessons, serving as a guide for proper behavior and the consequences of their action. Heroes and deities in these stories could provide examples of virtuous or flawed characters, and their stories offered insights into what was considered right or wrong in a particular culture. Number 3, cosmic and metaphysical insights. Myths frequently explore deep questions about the nature of the universe, the origin of life, the afterlife, and the existence of higher powers or divine beings. They provided a framework for understanding the metaphysical aspects of existence. Number 4, cultural and identity formation. Myths played a crucial role in the formation of cultural identity. They often conveyed the unique history, value, beliefs of a particular society, helping to bind people together through shared narratives. Number 5, archetypal symbols and psychology. Many mythological figures and symbols have been interpreted as archetypal symbols as they tap into the universal aspects of the human psyche. Psychologist Carl Jung, for example, believed that myths and symbols revealed deep shared elements of the human unconscious. Number 6, ritual and worship. Myths were intimately connected to ritual and religious practices. They provided the narratives and symbolic language that underpinned religious ceremonies and worships, helping to create a sense of connection to the divine. And finally, number 7, cycle of life and death. Several myths, such as the hero's journey or creation stories, often revolve around the themes of birth, death, and rebirth. These stories reflected the cyclical nature of existence and human experience of change and transformation. In this view, the purpose might be to recognize and experience this interconnectedness, fostering harmony, love, and spiritual growth, contributing to the well-being of all beings on the planet. To conclude, I would like to quote the great philosopher scientist Albert Einstein. To know that what is impenetrable to us really exists, manifesting itself as the highest wisdom and the most radiant beauty which our dull faculties can comprehend only through primitive forms, mythologies. This knowledge, this feeling is at the center of religiousness. Yeah, this is very true. Religion is supposed to be the interpreter of mythology towards a higher understanding of the spiritual nature of human beings. But we fail miserably in that aspect because we have converted mythology into history and still be rooted in our ancient consciousness or magical consciousness and never evolve. This is what I wanted to leave with you today. These 7 points, which are very important. Reflect on them and transform your life to a higher state of spiritual living. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a great life.